There's a moment we've all experienced. You turn off the lights. The room remains unchanged. Nothing has shifted. But suddenly, an unfamiliar atmosphere descends. The corners deepen, swallowing light. The silence amplifies, a palpable presence. Your eyes strain, conjuring shapes from the void. And though you know, with the sharp edge of logic, that nothing has materialized, your primal self refuses to believe it. Your heart thrums with a newfound urgency. Your senses become hyper-aware. A cautious hesitation precedes each deliberate step. Why? Why does the dark command such a primal fear, even when reason whispers there is no cause? Tonight we embark on a profound inquiry, delving beyond the surface, into the very core of this age-old dread. From the crucible of evolution, to the intricate pathways of the brain, through the lens of psychology, and into the boundless realm of imagination itself. Because the unvarnished truth is this: we do not fear the darkness itself. We fear the profound, unsettling alchemy it performs upon us. Let us begin with a fundamental assertion. Darkness is an absolute void. It possesses no agency. It is not a sentient entity. It is merely the ephemeral absence of light. And yet, our brain, that complex instrument, construes it as an existential threat. This initial revelation offers a critical clue, for evolution does not imbue us with fear capriciously. Fear exists for one singular, life-sustaining imperative: to ensure your survival. To truly grasp the fear of darkness, we must embark on a journey, not across mere centuries, not even across millennia, but across hundreds of thousands of years to the dawn of humanity. Envision a world devoid of artificial illumination, no streetlights to pierce the gloom, no lamps to cast a comforting glow, no screens to banish shadows. When the sun relinquishes its reign, visibility plummets to near oblivion, and within that profound obscurity, you are no longer the hunter. You are the hunted. Predators, masters of the low-light world, possess an acute night vision. They glide with spectral silence. They strike with an unseen swiftness. Thus, for our earliest ancestors, darkness was not merely an inconvenience. It was a sentinel of mortal peril, a terrifying, omnipresent danger. When sight failed, the ability to discern movement evaporated. The capacity to identify lurking threats vanished. The window for timely reaction slammed shut. So, what evolutionary response took root? The brain was hardwired to perceive darkness as a high-stakes arena, not because threats were guaranteed, but because the potential for their emergence was near absolute. This primal imprint segues into a more profound truth. Our trepidation lies not in the darkness itself, but in the chilling embrace of the unknown. In the reassuring flood of light, our cognitive faculties validate reality. That is a chair. That is a door. That is simply empty space. But in the suffocating grip of darkness, the brain finds itself starved of data, and when information becomes scarce, the brain does not find solace. It relentlessly composes the narrative, and its chosen genre is invariably the most calamitous possibility. Here lies a profound paradox. You do not, in the truest sense, see reality. Your brain anticipates it. The act of vision is not a passive reception of photonic waves. It is an active, interpretive process. In the absence of adequate light, visual input contracts drastically. Consequently, your brain initiates a mode shift. Instead of direct perception, it begins to infer. It scrutinizes nebulous forms, ethereal shadows, fragmented outlines, and artfully constructs potential explanations. That innocuous coat draped over a chair? For a fleeting, terrifying instant, it might morph into a human silhouette. That amorphous shadow lurking in the corner? It could harbor unseen motion, a phantom threat, however ephemeral. Because in the grand evolutionary calculus, a false alarm is infinitely preferable to a catastrophic oversight. Consider this stark dichotomy. If your brain errs on the side of caution, mistaking a benign object for peril, the repercussions are minimal. You experience a brief jolt, then recoilance. But if your brain confidently deems a situation safe and is catastrophically wrong, the cost could be your very existence. Therefore, evolution unequivocally decreed, err on the side of alarm, always. This ingrained predisposition is termed a negativity bias. Your brain is finely tuned to detect even phantom threats, and the darkness acts as an potent amplifier for this inherent system. Now, let us illuminate the intricate neurological dance occurring within your cranium. At its core lies a small yet formidable structure, the amygdala. This is the epicenter of our fear processing. When enshrouded in darkness, the amygdala's activity escalates dramatically. This surge precedes any conscious recognition of potential danger. This explains the instinctive physical manifestation of dread, occurring before rational thought can even begin to process it. It is not a cognizant thought. There may be something lurking. It is a visceral, somatic declaration. Something feels profoundly wrong. And only in the aftermath of this primal alarm does your rational neocortical brain attempt to catch up. You might counter with a reasoned assertion, but I know there is absolutely nothing there. Precisely. And yet, the unsettling primal unease persists. This is because the dominion of fear is not governed by logic. It is expertly orchestrated by swifter, more ancient neural networks. The rational faculty of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, operates at a deliberate pace. The fear circuit, however, is lightning fast. By the time logic manages to arrive at the scene, your body has already initiated its defensive protocols. Heart rate accelerates, muscles coil with tension, attention narrows to a laser focus. You are primed for imminent danger, even when no tangible threat exists. Herein lies an even more captivating dimension. Humanity possesses a unique gift, a faculty largely absent in the animal kingdom, a potent, boundless imagination. And this imaginative propensity does not recede in the darkness. Instead, it intensifies. As visual input wanes, the mind's internal imagery flourishes. You conjure nascent scenarios. You recall vivid fragments of past experiences. You project potential future occurrences. The dark expanse transforms into a vast, fertile canvas, and your mind becomes its master artist. The profound dread of darkness is often magnified in childhood. Why this stark disparity? Because a child's imagination burns with an even fiercer intensity, and their nascent cognitive architecture is still developing its capacity to delineate fantasy from reality. To a child's mind, the specter of imagined danger possesses a tangible, visceral quality. A mere shadow can transmute into a monstrous entity. A subtle rustle can portend a lurking presence. They do not merely conceptualize the threat, they deeply experience it. And even as we mature into adulthood, a residual echo of this deeply ingrained mechanism persists within us. Have you observed this phenomenon? Within the cloaking embrace of darkness, sounds seem to possess an amplified resonance, more acute, carrying a heightened significance. This is not a mere trick of the mind. As visual acuity diminishes, the brain strategically reallocates neural resources. The auditory processing centers become hypersensitive. Every subtle creak, every faint rustle of fabric, every distant, indistinct sound is meticulously magnified. And your brain, ever vigilant, poses the insistent question, what was that? Long before fear registers consciously within your mind's eye, your physiological system is already in a state of high alert. Your autonomic nervous system mobilizes the fight or flight response. Adrenaline surges through your veins. Your respiratory rate quickens. Your musculature tenses, poised for immediate action. This cascade is entirely involuntary. It is beyond your conscious control. And in the enveloping darkness, this sensitive defense mechanism is far more readily activated. An additional potent layer contributes to this primal fear. Culture. From our earliest formative years, we are steeped in narratives that inextricably link darkness with peril. Consider the tapestry of our stories. The most terrifying creatures emerge with the descent of night. Ethereal spirits haunt the shadowed realms. Unseen horrors lurk where our vision cannot penetrate. The cinematic arts relentlessly reinforce this archetypal association. The genre of horror, in particular, hinges critically upon the strategic deployment of darkness. The reason is elegantly simple. Darkness preemptively primes the neural circuitry for fear. It provides the ideal, unmolested stage for terror to unfold. Here lies a peculiar characteristic of the fear of darkness. It requires no tangible, visible antagonist. The vast majority of human phobias are rooted in specific, identifiable stimuli. Arachnids, vertiginous heights, serpentine creatures. But the fear of darkness, it operates on a fundamentally different principle. It is a contextual phobia. Your apprehension is not directed at a singular entity. It is a diffuse, pervasive dread of anything and everything. And this amorphous quality imbues it with an extraordinary potency. Occasionally, within the ink-black void, a disquieting sensation takes hold. The distinct feeling of not being alone, even when empirical evidence confirms your solitude. This unnerving phenomenon is known as a sense of presence. It arises when your brain encounters ambiguous sensory signals. Your mind endeavors to interpret these fleeting impressions, and one plausible, albeit erroneous, conclusion emerges. Someone else is here, even when this is demonstrably untrue. As we traverse the landscape of life, we accrue experience and wisdom. We develop a more intimate understanding of our surroundings. We cultivate a robust sense of personal confidence. Consequently, the overt manifestations of this fear tend to recede. However, it does not vanish entirely, because the underlying evolutionary architecture remains intact, ever vigilant, ever prepared, though its presence may become more subdued, more latent. In a peculiar, almost mystical way, darkness serves as an unsparing mirror to our inner selves. Stripped of the ceaseless influx of visual stimuli, our internal monologue becomes more pronounced. Our thoughts crystallize with newfound clarity. Our deeply buried fears become undeniably apparent. The darkness does not engineer fear. It merely excavates and illuminates what already resides within. So, why does the dark command such a visceral response, even when our rational minds assure us of its emptiness? Because your brain was never fundamentally designed to trust the darkness. It was ingeniously engineered to survive it. It prioritizes unwavering caution over fleeting comfort. It values the countless possibilities of danger over the illusion of certainty. It champions an instinctive fear over an even greater, potentially fatal, risk. The next time that familiar, unsettling sensation washes over you in the dark, remember this profound assurance. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Your brain is performing precisely the function for which it was exquisitely designed: to safeguard you. Even when that protection feels superimposed, perhaps even superfluous, even when it appears to defy all rational explanation. Because at the deepest, most primordial stratum of your being, the ancient language of darkness still unequivocally communicates one essential decree: proceed with extreme caution.